Hi everyone. Okay, so if you are watching this video, you probably scanned the QR code in your kit. If you do not have a kit and you're interested in learning more about our kit, you can check out the link below. But this video will walk you through how to make this sleep mask. And the kit basically gives you everything you're going to need. So there's the yarn for both of the mask panels. So this is a two-sided sleep mask that's then connected, seamed together with this string. So you'll have both balls of yarn pre-measured for each panel of the mask. And then you have the elastic strap, the yarn to make the strap that the elastic feeds through, and the border yarn. It also comes with this card, which has the QR code, also the pattern. So the QR code would have brought you to this video, but also a download of the pattern, as well as an iron-on decal. So in this video, I'll walk through how to make the mask, seam it together, iron this on, do the strap, and the whole thing. The pattern will also tell you that, but I think that the pattern will also walk you through it, but wanted to have a visual aid for you as well. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking out the panel yarn. Start with one. Sorry, this is black yarn, which is probably going to be hard to see. Okay, so I use a G-hook for my sleep masks. This is Premier Parfait Chunky. I'm also a pretty loose crocheter when I do this. So if you are a tight crocheter, you should definitely play around with it. You might want to use a H or even a J hook. When I use a chenille yarn, which is another Premier yarn I use, like the basics, I use a J. So yeah, but you want to hold pretty loose. I've pattern tested this a few times. I get different results on what works for people, so it's really going to depend on the yarn you're using. If you have the kit, obviously you're using this yarn, but also your grip. So we're going to start by just doing a slip knot onto your hook like this, and then you're going to chain 19. Okay, once you have 19 chained, you're going to go into not the first space, but the second space from your hook, and you're going to do 2 single crochets in there. So you do 1, 2, and then you go all the way across, single crochet in each until you get to the end where you do 2 more. So now you'll have 20 stitches total. Okay, when you get to the end and you have 20 stitches, you're going to turn. You do not chain or anything, and then you're going to do 2 stitches again in the first space now. So no skipping. You're going to go right into the first space and do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and then do the exact same thing where you're going to single crochet all the way across. When you get to the last stitch, you do 2, so you'll have 22 total stitches. Okay, now that you have 22 across, you're going to turn, go right into the first stitch, and just single crochet all the way across 22. And then you do that 3 more times after that. So you're going to do a total right now of 4 back and forth single crochet rows until you get to the 4th one. So 22 stitches across, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so when you have those 4 rows complete, you're going to start again in the first stitch and single crochet 11, so you get right to the middle. So we go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. Okay, now you're going to turn. You're going to skip the first stitch this time and start in the second from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you'll have 10. You're going to do the exact same thing, flip, and you're going to skip 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same thing again, skip 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one more time across, skip the first one, go for 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now you're going to slip stitch down to that place where you put the 11th stitch in. So you do slip stitch, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to insert into the next one, 11 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now this time for this side, so that you match the other side, on the first one you're not going to skip. You're going to go right into that first stitch. So you're going to go 1, and then you're going to go for 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to turn, skip the first stitch, go for 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, stitch, turn, skip the first stitch, go for 8, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn again and do skip the first stitch and do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, when you get to the end here, you are going to cut. You probably have a little extra. I like to include about an extra yard, maybe even 2, more than I need, just because, I don't know, I've had kits before where I run out of yarn. That's super frustrating. You cut that. I like to just pull it through, tighten it, do an extra little knot, but basically fasten off however you would like to. You can leave that string. The beauty of this project is that with 2 panels, all of your strings just get tucked in. So once you have one panel done, you're going to do a second panel the exact same way, and then we will seam them together. Or actually, we'll probably do the decal before we seam them together. Okay, so I now have my 2 mask panels. So I'm going to get my decal, and an iron, as well as a washcloth or towel, actually two, because I put one over the top and then one to protect whatever surface you're working on. So I have a towel on my surface and then my mask on top. And then you're just going to, as your iron heats up, before you put the decal on, you're actually going to do one hold or press with your iron without it, so you can heat this up. But it's pretty important that we do not put the iron directly on the mask. I have done it. Doesn't totally ruin it, but the heat will definitely kind of play with the yarn. So it's a pretty delicate thing, so that's why we're going to use the washcloth. Okay, so we're going to do the iron press for 30 seconds. My iron has different settings. So I actually use the one that says mix. It's number 7. It's the recommended for, there's also polyester, which I think is the one before. I've used both. Hold for 30 seconds. My iron beeps after 30 seconds, typically when it gets too hot. So I usually use that symbol. Probably try to keep the iron on the side where the mask is going. There's no reason to heat up the rest. So once that countdown is over, going to lift this up. Now it's warm. You don't have to do that. It just kind of helps you not have to hold it so many times if you heat it up first. Okay, so now that you put your decal down, you're going to push firmly 30 seconds. My iron beeps at 30 seconds, but if you're counting, I typically pull the iron off very briefly and then put it right back on and do another 30. Okay, so I think mine is done. You can usually check. Usually, as long as it's like sticking a little, I like to just let it cool completely before you take the decal off. That'll really make sure it gets stuck. Now you have both panels of your mask. Time to open the elastic strap and border. So the border is going to be the rainbow color. This, by the way, is Premier Bamboo Pop. I forget the name of the color. I will put it in the comments below. Very important that you should know when I wrap it, I wrap the end piece around. So do not cut it. It is not extra piece. It is part of your measurement, which of course is probably extra, but to be on the safe side, I just like to wrap it around. Okay, then you have this. You can pull from the inside if you want, whatever makes it easier. Just try to avoid it getting tangled. Okay. There we go. You might want to roll it in a ball or something to be safe. Okay, so now you're going to place your masks like this, like so. And you're going to take your hook. I use the same G hook that I used before. Put it through the bridge of the nose. And you're going to pull this through and tie it on. Like that. I always do a double knot. I double knot my sneakers. I double knot everything. Can never be too secure. Okay, and then you're going to do a little slip knot or slip stitch. And then you're just going to go around the whole mask. And, you know, the pieces should really line up. Or, I mean, the stitches should really line up as you go around. And work your way around in a single crochet. So you just do this and go around. And the border really gives you a nice clean stitch around it, which is the part that I really like, and it really complements the rainbow decal. Okay, so when you get all the way around, you are going to finish your crochet. Oh, that's my starting one. I was gonna say, wow, I really cut that short. Okay. All right, so when you get all the way around, you do when you get all the way around, you'll do your final single crochet back into that same spot, finish it off, pull your string through. Okay, this was a lot extra. Probably try to be more efficient with that when I make my kits, but all right. Pull it all the way through, and then as always, tie a knot, double knot if you must, like myself. Double knot, and now's the time to tuck all your strings in if you didn't already. So I actually, as I was going through, I tucked in some of my black strings, but these strings are still sticking out. So you can use this hook. Sometimes I like to go in with a smaller hook and just like really make sure I'm getting in pretty tight to where the string's coming out. And just pull it right through. And you can pull it, oh my gosh, I can't get around, okay. Pull it through. And you can pull it through all the way and trim it. You can pull it through and keep it inside, whatever works. And then I think this last one. Pull that one through. Just like to try to go as tight as possible. Otherwise, it might come back. Not usually, but sometimes. And then what I like about the border too is it's a smaller yarn, so it's always going to be a little bit snug, but it makes it so you can kind of like, the mask takes this shape where the part around the eye like arches a little bit, which I think is nice. All right, so that is the decal on the border, and now we are going to do the strap. Okay, so for your strap, you'll have yarn, same yarn as the mask, and a tiny bit of elastic. So we're going to start with the yarn. We're going to start on the side, the bottom. So I flipped it. So flip it over and then choose one of the sides. You're going to want the nose. Trying to think if this changes if you're left-handed or right-handed. Basically, you're going to want the part of the strap that you're working on to be facing out in the back. So you're going to want to start here. We're going to work the strap and then connect it here. So to do that, we are doing an I cord, with our yarn. So you're going to go pretty close to the border here. If you look at the mask from top to bottom, this is the top, this is the bottom. And go kind of on center. You're going to go up a little bit, like one stitch. Basically want kind of like the center 3 rows to be what we're working with. So you're going to insert your hook, pull through, pull yarn through, what I did there. Okay, tie it on. Okay, that string can be tucked in later. And go back into that, yarn over, pull through. Go into the next one, yarn over and pull through, and then go into the last, yarn over and pull through. So now you're pretty much center here, and you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to take your hook out of the first 2, leaving the last, yarn over. You really have to hold these other loops so that you don't pull, especially this one, through when you're yarning over, because it'll start to tug that. So you really want to hold on to that. It gets easier after the first one, but the first one's kind of tricky. Okay, you're going to go back into the second loop, yarn over, pull through, into the last loop, yarn over, pull through. You now have 3 again. So same exact thing. Pull out of the 2, yarn over, pull through, go back into the second, yarn over, third. You'll see I started to lose that one. Still got it. Third, yarn over, pull through. And you're going to keep doing this. It's probably going to be until you run out of the yarn, or until you have about 50 to 60 rows, right? So you do that many times. You can count that by counting basically what's going to look like a single crochet chain on the side. So right now we did 3, the starting one, and then the other 2 I did. Basically you want that to be bigger than what you need it to be to wrap around your head, because then we're gonna thread the elastic through it and tighten it up. Okay. When you have all 60 rows of your I cord, you're going to want to come to your other side directly across from where you went in. So if you're looking at it this way, it's here. You're going to try to keep this straight as much as you can. and then come to the other side. You're gonna go to towards the bottom of your mask. So if you were looking at the 3 middle stitches, you're gonna go all the way to the one on the left. You're going to come in here, yarn over, and then you're gonna pull through all the loops on your hook. Like that. And then you're going to, we have to turn it so you can see, just single crochet into the one next to it. And I usually do one more, so you kind of have all 3 pull through. And then leave a little bit of a tail on this one. I just like it to be extra secure, so I usually come back and just do either a slip knot or a single crochet. You can kind of just do a slip knot probably in here. Pull it nice and tight, and then I do another knot before tucking this one in. Do one more knot before tucking that one in, and pull through here and trim. And pull this other string from before. Oops. Okay. Put this one in. 2. Okay, so now your strap is attached. It's just very loose. So next we're going to use our elastic. Okay, so for this part you're going to need a tapestry needle, and you will put your elastic through, tie it on. Again, I always do double, probably don't need to. Okay, then you're going to come to the inside of your I-cord where it kind of attaches, and that's where you're going to tie your elastic on. So pull it all the way through, leaving a little bit of a tail so you can tuck it in. You don't want it to be too short because then it's going to poke out of your mask, just because it has a little bit more sturdiness to it than yarn does. Okay, tie that on, and then you're literally going to, if you look at your I-cord, again, this is hard to see probably because the black, but you'll see there's really a channel in here that you're gonna just put the needle through as best as you can, and making sure the whole time you're not poking out the other side. You want to just avoid the elastic coming out. It'll be pretty hidden since it's black on black, and this is going to scrunch so much, but you still don't want to, I don't know, sometimes you accidentally skip and then there's a little gap. So just keep going until you get it all the way through. Okay. So when you get to the other end, just finish this. Oops. Okay, just got punched up in there. You're going to want to just tighten as much as you can. So typically a good measure is the mask still lays flat. Obviously everyone's head is different, but you don't really want it to be pulling so tight that the mask isn't laying flat. The other way to measure is to literally put it around your head, which I often do. So you can put it around your head, make sure it feels good, get it to a place where you like it, and then you're just going to tie a double knot here and tuck it in. And here is the final product. Thank you so much for buying the kit, making the mask with me. I hope you love it, or maybe it's a gift. Hope whoever is getting it loves it. Thanks so much. Make sure that you subscribe, follow me, all the things. If you like this tutorial, I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much.